All of us in the points and miles hobby are money conscious. I mean, I think it's just kind of a given because what we love is to get outsized value. We love to rack up points. We love to find outstanding redemptions for those points and be able to use them and say, look at the great deal we got. So overall, I think we're money conscious and deal conscious people. So today I wanted to talk about something that is related to this hobby, but I think is more a general money topic, and that is things that I have chosen not to waste my money on in my life. You know, there's a lot of things that you can buy that are valuable to you, but maybe don't have any intrinsic value. And you might be able to cut out to save some money and use that money for other things, investing or perhaps other things that would elevate your life. So if you would hit the like and subscribe button, and let's look at it together. 7 things I don't waste my money on anymore. And I won't say that I'm perfect at all these. I don't want to be hypocritical about it. And sometimes I do break my own rules. But for the most part, these are things that I'm trying to peel back on because either they don't matter to me very much anymore, or I've done an evaluation and I'm like, look at all that I spend on that. It's just not worth it. So some of these things might help you in your spending habits, and some of these things you might disagree with, and that's okay. Because really there's no right or wrong in this. There's just what's beneficial for us as individuals in our own finances. So let's dive into it together. The first one is I don't buy drinks anymore at restaurants. And what I mean by that is that used to I would always get a tea or I would get a Coke or a soda or whatever it may be at a restaurant with my meal. But have you noticed how much more those have gone up in price? I mean, there was a time it was like $1.95 or maybe $2.25. But now I've been to a few restaurants, $3.95. The one I went to the other day, $4.95. So an extra $5 for each drink. And so I'm like, I can drink water. And I'm such a cheapskate. I go to Walmart and I buy the little drink enhancers. You know, it costs a couple bucks and it's different flavors and you can squirt it in water. And I take it with me in my pocket, carry it with me every day. And I go out to eat all the time. But when I go out to eat, I just set it right there on the table and order water and squirt it in there. And you might think, well, you're going to get weird looks from the waiters. And I'll tell you, every single time the waiter comes to refill my water, but my water's kind of red, you know, because of the drink enhancer. And he'll look at that and say, oh, I just bring this because, you know, and part of my excuse is I really don't like diet soda that much, and I don't drink sugared soda, so that's all they usually have. So I say, I like this better. And I also say, and plus, your drinks are $3.95. And every time the waiter has said, yeah, it's getting out of hand. So nobody seems to care. So that's just one little thing I do to save money, and I figured it out. It saves me like quite a few $100s a year because I eat out quite a bit. So when you add up $5 a pop, it's $100 every 20 times you go out to eat. So it actually comes out to quite a bit. The next thing is I've kind of peeled back on unnecessary and trendy clothing. Now, I do buy me caps when we travel, but as far as clothing, you know, if I can find good clothes on sale at a deal, I will utilize that and I'll buy those. But pretty much, I just don't care about that like I used to. I don't care about the brand as much and things like that. And you can save so much money when you just don't emphasize that anymore. And the older I get, it seems like the less people even notice or care about it anyway. So I'm just peeling back on unnecessary or trendy clothing items. The third thing that I don't spend my money on is dealership service for our cars. Now, when they're in warranty, yes, we take them to the dealership, and the dealership provides sometimes free oil changes and things. But after that warranty period, I take them to my local mechanic. It's like a third of the price, and he does a great job. And it's just, I'm not going to go and pay those exorbitant prices at the dealership. So I've learned that I can just save lots and lots of money through that. The fourth thing that I don't spend money on is accounting and brokerage fees. I've been doing my own taxes for years. It's not that hard. I mean, you just go through the book or you use TurboTax or whatever. So why pay somebody $300, $400, $500 to do that when it's just a little bit of my time to do it? And brokerage fees. I do self-directed brokerage accounts where I'm not paying somebody necessarily to do that for me. And I'd save really a lot of money in that way by choosing to kind of take on some of those responsibilities myself and not just put it off on somebody else, and also in that have a big bill for those services. Before we get to number 5, you may notice that I don't use affiliate or referral links in my video descriptions. I made this choice so that my content is 100% focused on you without any outside influence. If you appreciate this approach, a good way to support the channel is to use the thanks button. I appreciate your support. It really helps me to keep creating content like this. The 5th thing that I stopped spending money on long ago is low quality items. Used to, I would just simply try to find the best bargain. In other words, if I wanted some particular product, I would choose the one that I could get for the absolute cheapest. And I even reasoned and worked out that, you know, if it goes bad, if you can buy 4 of them that are cheap for the same price of one that's higher quality, then perhaps the 4 are a better deal because, you know, if they wear out and you might get lucky and one might last a little bit longer and, you know, you just keep replacing them. The problem is products that are cheap are really cheap and they break at the most inconvenient times. Then you've got to go to all the trouble of replacing it or repairing it when you could have just had a less worrisome existence if you would have simply just bought the high quality item in the first place. Now, this rule is not all that simple because there are some things that, frankly, because they cost more doesn't mean they're higher quality. This is really true with some clothing items. I mean, if you were to go buy a suit that's $5,000 from a custom manufacturer versus one that's off the rack for $500 from a very, very good quality clothier, I mean, the difference, is it really going to be $4,500 in difference? Well, part of that's going to be wrapped up in name brand and not simply concerning quality. So you do have to kind of sort through this, work it out, because you got to determine, is this thing cost more because it's higher quality, or does it cost more simply because it's trendy or it's a name brand? So I've tried to sort through that in recent years and really buy high quality items, not necessarily the most expensive, not necessarily the most trendy, but high quality. The 6th thing that I no longer waste my money on is car loans. Now, somebody might be looking out there and saying, what do you drive old piece of junk cars? Well, for a while I did. I mean, back in the day when we first decided we wanted to get out of debt, and we have pretty much followed the out of debt approach to life, the Dave Ramsey kind of approach. I know that sounds weird from a credit card YouTuber because the one place I really diverge from him is credit cards. But I do believe that it's very, very important to stay out of debt. So years ago, we started deciding, well, we're going to make a car payment to ourselves and just drive our old cars. To the point that now, if we want to buy a car, that money is saved up in a special account. We can go pay cash. Or we've done this, if you buy a new car, sometimes you can get 0% interest deals. And if you already have the cash ready to pay cash, you can put it over into a high yield savings account and you actually get paid interest for buying that car and you're not paying any interest on it. So we've done that before too. But when you add up the interest on a car loan, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, that is a lot of money over time. When if you just make the payment to yourself and sacrifice for a while, then ultimately you'll always be able to drive a nice used or new car and be able to pay for it. And if you needed to sell it, you got in a pinch, you're never going to be upside down on a loan or anything of that nature. So for years now, that's how we've been approaching our cars. I just don't spend money anymore on car loan interest rates. And that leads us to the 7th and the most important. I do not spend my money on credit card interest. Credit card interest is absolutely the bane of the credit card points and miles hobby, because if you pay that 19 to 30% interest on your credit cards, it will decimate any rewards that you have in this hobby. So it is vitally important that you pay off your cards every single month, every dollar. And it actually will help your finances tremendously, because not only are you not paying the bank's interest, but they're giving you rewards. So it's a net positive. So for years now, I've not paid any interest, and I've decided in my life, I'm never going to pay that high interest credit card debt ever again. I'm just going to pay them off every month. Well, I hope these 7 things that I've chosen not to waste my money on are helpful to you. Let me know some other things that you don't waste your money on down in the comments below. Things that you think are poor choices to spend money on. So let me know that below. If you would, hit the like and subscribe button. You can also consider my channel membership, $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. I have special dedicated videos for channel members. Consider that. Thank you for being here, and we will see you here next time.